The oppressive hum of the artificial sun cast a sickly yellow glow over the sprawling undercity of Zenith. Amara, a young woman with eyes the color of storm clouds, navigated the labyrinthine alleyways, her worn boots kicking up dust that clung to the ever-present grime. Her meager rations secure in a tattered bag, she weaved through throngs of emaciated figures, their faces etched with despair. Amara was a scavenger, a vital cog in the underbelly of Zenith, a megacity encased within a colossal dome that shielded its inhabitants from the ravaged earth beyond. While the elite basked in the simulated sunlight of the Zenith Council's creation, the undercity dwellers toiled tirelessly, their labor fueling the city's artificial life support. Today, however, was different. A hidden thrill coursed through Amara as she clutched a small, tarnished metal disc. It had been concealed within a discarded circuit board, its surface etched with cryptic symbols that pulsed with a faint, otherworldly luminescence. Rumors of hidden messages, whispers of a rebellion, and a mythical place called the Garden of Eden, a legend as forbidden as it was alluring, swirled in the undercity's undercurrents. This, Amara believed, was a piece of that forbidden knowledge. Reaching her cramped, makeshift dwelling, she barred the rickety door and lit a flickering candle. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, but the mystery of the disc burned brighter. Tracing the symbols with a calloused finger, she desperately hoped to unlock their secrets. Just then, a thunderous crash echoed from the upper levels. Amara froze, her heart pounding against her ribs. Above the undercity, in the gleaming towers of Zenith proper, Kael, a guardian, stood witness to a scene that shattered his carefully constructed world. A young woman, barely out of her teens, had been caught stealing a single ration bar. The guardians, his own comrades, were brutalizing her, their metallic limbs leaving vicious bruises on her already frail body. Kael, unlike others, saw not a nameless undercity dweller, but a human being in pain. He had always harbored a flicker of doubt about the rigid hierarchy and the Zenith Council's absolute control. This incident ignited a spark within him, the flames fueled by a growing sense of injustice and a desire to understand the reality veiled by the Council's propaganda. As he watched, his gaze fell upon a discarded metal disc, identical to the one Amara held miles below. Kael, unaware of its significance, picked it up, a strange pull drawing him towards it. His curiosity piqued, he tucked it into his uniform, a decision that would change the course of their lives forever. Days turned into weeks, and Amara's frustration grew with each passing sun cycle. The symbols remained indecipherable, mocking her with their cryptic dance. She searched in vain for clues, venturing to the Forbidden Archives, a network of decommissioned terminals hidden deep within the undercity. The air hung thick with the scent of stale data and forgotten technology, a stark contrast to the sterile efficiency of the Zenith Council's facilities. Her search was interrupted by a sudden commotion. A group of guardians, led by a stoic figure with a steely glint in his eyes, stormed into the archives. Amara, hidden behind a toppled terminal, held her breath, fear tightening her chest. The leader, his voice amplified by his helmet, announced they were searching for stolen council property. Her mind raced, the disc. Panic welled up, threatening to consume her. Thinking fast, Amara reached into her satchel, pulling out a small device she had salvaged years ago. With trembling hands, she connected it to the nearest terminal, her fingers flying across the worn keypad. Lines of code scrolled on the screen, a language she barely understood. With a final press of a button, the room plunged into darkness, the only sound a faint whirring from the device. Meanwhile, amidst the chaos, Kael found himself drawn to one of the guardians who seemed less enthusiastic about the raid. It was a young woman, her name tag identifying her as Elara. In the flickering emergency lights, he noticed her glancing nervously at the deactivated terminal. Taking a calculated risk, Kael approached her. "Is something wrong?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Elara hesitated, her eyes darting around. "I think someone might have downloaded sensitive data," she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. There was a surge in activity before the blackout. Kael felt a jolt of awareness. The stolen council property, could it be the same thing he had found? An idea sparked in his mind, a flicker of rebellion against the council's control. "We need to find out who did it," he said, his voice low and determined. Unbeknownst to them, Amara watched from the shadows, her heart pounding. In Elara, she saw a glimmer of hope, a potential ally in her quest to uncover the truth. As the emergency lights flickered back on, bathing the room in a harsh glow, a silent understanding passed between Kael and Elara. The search for the truth, for the secrets held within the stolen data, had begun. Amara, cloaked in the shadows of the deactivated archives, watched the scene unfold with a mixture of apprehension and cautious hope. Kael and Elara, the unlikely pair of guardians, argued amongst themselves, their voices muffled by the distance. "This is madness," Kael, Elara hissed, her voice laced with fear. "Helping an undercity dweller? You'll be labeled a traitor if this gets out." "I can't just ignore it," Kael countered, his voice firm. "Something doesn't feel right about this whole situation. We need to know the truth." Amara's heart pounded with a wild mixture of relief and terror. Kael's actions, fueled by a burgeoning sense of rebellion, provided her with a lifeline. But the risks were immense, for both of them. Taking a deep breath, Amara decided to take a gamble. Using her knowledge of the forgotten technology, she activated a hidden voice comm channel, a relic from a bygone era. Her voice, raspy and strained, echoed through the silent archives. "You seek the truth," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "I can help you find it, but it will come at a cost." Both Kael and Elara spun around, searching the darkness for the source of the voice. A sense of urgency filled the air. "Who are you?" Kael called out, his voice cautious. "Someone who knows what's hidden within the stolen data," Amara replied, her voice unwavering. "Someone who desires the same answers you do." After a tense silence, Elara spoke, her voice laced with doubt. "How can we trust you?" "You don't," Amara said, the harsh reality hanging heavy in the air. "But you have no other choice. The council will stop at nothing to silence anyone who questions their authority." A heavy silence descended, broken only by the rhythmic hum of the deactivated terminals. Kael and Elara exchanged a hesitant glance, their faces etched with the weight of the decision they were about to make. Finally, Kael nodded. "We'll listen," he said, his voice firm. A flicker of a smile touched Amara's lips despite the darkness. A tentative pact, forged in the shadows of the Undercity, had come to life. Together, this unlikely trio embarked on a dangerous journey to decipher the secrets held within the stolen data, their path fraught with danger and the potential to unravel the carefully constructed order of Zenith. The abandoned ventilation shaft, its metallic walls slick with condensation, served as their clandestine meeting place. Amara, her wiry frame barely filling the cramped space, produced the stolen disk, its cryptic symbols gleaming faintly in the dim light emitted from a salvaged power cell. "I haven't been able to decipher it on my own," Amara admitted, her voice barely a whisper. The symbols seemed to be from an ancient dialect, something predating the dome's construction. Kael, his brow furrowed in concentration, studied the disk. "Perhaps the council archives might hold some clues," he suggested, a flicker of doubt flickering in his eyes. Elara, ever cautious, shook her head. "It's too risky. If they suspect anything, they'll stop at nothing to eliminate the threat." A tense silence followed, broken only by the dripping of condensation from the overhead pipes. Amara, refusing to give up, her gaze fell on a discarded data chip tucked in her satchel. It was a relic from the forgotten times, salvaged from the archives. "There's another option," she said, her voice filled with a newfound determination. "This chip contains fragments of an old language translation program. It might be a long shot, but it's our only hope." With bated breath, they connected the disk and the chip to a makeshift interface cobbled together from scavenged parts. A tense silence filled the air as they activated the device. Lines of code scrolled on a dusty monitor, the flickering light illuminating their anxious faces. Moments stretched into an eternity, then, a breakthrough. The symbols on the disk began to morph, their ancient script translating into a language they could understand. A collective sigh of relief escaped their lips as they delved into the decoded message. It spoke of a hidden world, a place untouched by the dome's artificiality, a place whispered about in legends as the Garden of Eden. The message contained cryptic instructions, a roadmap to this mythical haven. But woven into the text were chilling warnings of the Council's ruthless efforts to keep the truth hidden. The weight of the revelation settled upon them, heavy and sobering. The Garden of Eden, once a distant dream, now seemed tantalizingly close. But the path ahead was fraught with danger. The Council, ever vigilant, would stop at nothing to silence anyone who dared challenge their authority. Looking at each other, their faces illuminated by the flickering screen, they knew their lives had irrevocably changed. They were no longer just a scavenger, a disillusioned guardian, and a cautious collaborator. They were now rebels, bound by a shared purpose, their fate intertwined with the fate of the message and the hope it represented. The decision loomed large: to follow the path laid out before them, venturing into the unknown in search of a sanctuary, or to remain trapped within the artificial confines of Zenith, forever living a lie. As they exchanged a silent glance, the air crackled with unspoken determination. The journey to the Garden of Eden had begun. The decoded message served as a blueprint, outlining a perilous journey beyond the dome. Guided by cryptic instructions and propelled by a shared yearning for freedom, Amara, Kael, and Elara embarked on their audacious plan. Their first hurdle: accessing the restricted upper levels of Zenith. Elara, leveraging her knowledge of the Guardian security protocols, disabled surveillance cameras in a secluded sector. Using the brief window of opportunity, Kael, utilizing his athletic agility honed through years of training, scaled the towering structure, securing entry points for Amara and Elara. Navigating the sterile corridors of the upper city, they felt like aliens in a foreign land. The stark contrast between the gleaming opulence and the squalor of the undercity served as a stark reminder of the Council's oppressive regime. Reaching the designated location, they encountered a hidden maintenance hatch leading outside the dome. The air grew thick with anticipation and a tinge of fear as they gazed upon the desolate wasteland beyond, a stark contrast to the artificial environment they had known all their lives. Donning protective biosuits, they emerged into the harsh reality of the ravaged Earth. The desolate landscape stretched out before them, a canvas of dust, twisted metal skeletons of forgotten buildings, and a pale, sickly sun struggling to pierce through the polluted atmosphere. Their trek was fraught with danger. The barren landscape was littered with remnants of the past, twisted metal carcasses of rusted vehicles and crumbling structures, testaments to the world gone by. They faced sandstorms that whipped at them with blinding fury, their biosuits struggling to filter out the toxic air. During one such storm, Kael, separated from the others, stumbled upon a hidden bunker. Inside, he discovered a chilling truth. The Garden of Eden, the beacon of hope that had fueled their journey, was nothing but a myth, a carefully constructed lie propagated by the Council to quell dissent in the Undercity. Disillusioned and devastated, Kael returned to the group, his spirit crushed. Despair threatened to engulf them as the weight of the fabricated hope settled in. But Amara, her gaze fixed on the horizon, refused to give in. "We came this far," she declared, her voice unwavering. "There must be something beyond this wasteland. Even if the Garden of Eden doesn't exist, there has to be a place out there where we can start anew, free from the Council's tyranny." Her resolute spirit reignited a spark of hope in their hearts. They continued their journey, their destination now a symbol of freedom itself, a place where they could forge their own destiny, away from the suffocating control of Zenith. As they walked towards the uncertain future, the setting sun cast long shadows across the desolate landscape, painting the sky in hues of orange and red. The path ahead was far from clear, but for Amara, Kael, and Elara, the journey towards freedom had just begun. Weeks turned into months as Amara, Kael, and Elara trudged through the desolate wasteland. The harsh environment pushed them to their physical and emotional limits, yet their shared desire for freedom fueled their determination. They scavenged for resources, their survival instincts honed to a razor's edge. Kael, wrestling with the revelation of the fabricated Garden of Eden, channeled his disillusionment into ensuring their safety, his training making him adept at navigating the treacherous terrain and fending off the mutated creatures that roamed the wasteland. Elara, haunted by the betrayal of her former comrades, utilized her knowledge of Guardian technology to modify their biosuits, enhancing their functionality and communication capabilities. Amara, ever resourceful, put her engineering skills to use, repairing their equipment and salvaging discarded technology for potential use. One starlit night, huddled around a flickering campfire, they shared stories of the Undercity, their voices laced with a bittersweet nostalgia. It was then that Amara noticed a faint, rhythmic signal emanating from Elara's modified biosuit. "It's a coded message," Elara breathed, her voice filled with a mix of apprehension and hope. Deciphering the message using salvaged decryption software, their hearts pounded with a mixture of shock and excitement. It originated from a small, scattered resistance group hidden deep within the wasteland, individuals who had also escaped the clutches of Zenith. The message spoke of a hidden oasis, a community built on the principles of mutual aid and rebellion against the Council's tyranny. A flicker of hope rekindled in their eyes, a beacon in the vast emptiness of the wasteland. With renewed purpose, they set their sights on this new destination. Their journey became more than just a quest for survival. It transformed into a mission to join forces with the Resistance and fight for the liberation of those trapped beneath the dome. The road ahead was fraught with uncertainty. The Resistance's location remained a closely guarded secret, and the Council's relentless pursuit loomed as a constant threat. Yet, they were no longer three individuals driven by desperation. They were a band of rebels, their hearts united by a shared yearning for freedom and a burning desire to challenge the oppressive regime that had held them captive for so long. As they ventured deeper into the wasteland, the whispers of resistance grew stronger, a testament to the enduring human spirit that refused to be extinguished, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. Their journey, a testament to courage and resilience, had become a beacon of hope, not just for themselves, but for the countless souls yearning for a life free from the suffocating control of Zenith. The journey to the rumored resistance base was an arduous one. Weeks turned into months, the relentless sun beating down on their tattered biosuits as they traversed the unforgiving landscape. They faced sandstorms that threatened to consume them whole, mutated scavengers driven by hunger, and the constant fear of discovery by Council patrols scouring the wasteland. Yet, their resolve remained unwavering. Fueled by the message of hope received from the Resistance, each obstacle they overcame only strengthened their determination. Amara's ingenuity continued to shine as she used salvaged parts to repair their equipment and devise clever traps to avoid capture. Kael, driven by a renewed sense of purpose, became a formidable defender, his skills honed from his Guardian training proving invaluable against the wasteland's dangers. Elara, haunted by her past but invigorated by the possibility of redemption, used her technical expertise to improve their communication systems, allowing them to stay connected with the Resistance and receive valuable intel. One particularly grueling day, as they navigated a labyrinth of abandoned structures, they stumbled upon a chilling sight. The remnants of a Resistance outpost lay in ruins, the telltale signs of a brutal attack by Council forces scattered around the smoldering debris. Despair threatened to engulf them, a stark reminder of the immense power and ruthlessness they were up against. But as they sifted through the wreckage, hope rekindled. A hidden data chip, miraculously intact, contained a fragmented message. It contained not just condolences for the fallen but also a coded location update for the new Resistance base, a testament to their resilience and unwavering spirit. This discovery became a turning point. The attack served as a stark reminder of the stakes, but the resilience of the Resistance served as an inspiration. Filled with renewed determination, Amara, Kael, and Elara pressed on, their focus sharpened, their bond strengthened by the shared hardships and the knowledge that they were not alone in their fight. Finally, after months of perilous travel, they reached the coordinates provided by the data chip. A hidden entrance, camouflaged within the desolate environment, led them into a network of underground tunnels, a haven carved into the wasteland by the Resistance. Emerging into a dimly lit cavern, they were greeted by a diverse group of individuals, their faces etched with the hardships they had endured but their eyes burning with the same relentless fire of rebellion. They were welcomed with open arms, their arrival a symbol of hope for the resistance and a testament to the growing fight against the oppressive regime. As they shared stories of their journey and learned of the resistance's struggles, Amara, Kael, and Elara realized their journey had just begun. They were no longer just survivors. They were part of a growing movement, a spark of rebellion destined to ignite the flames of liberation across the vast wasteland and the suffocating dome itself. The fight for freedom had only just begun, but within the hidden caverns of the resistance, a flicker of hope burned brightly, fueled by the unwavering spirit of those who dared to fight for a brighter future.